What is up, everybody? Mr. Purtis here. Welcome to our DBQ Walk Through 2020 COVID-19 edition. Here's the deal. I want to go through a couple steps and strategies of things that I think are going to help on the DBQ. Over the next couple weeks, we're going to do a couple practice DBQs, and I'll get into why we're doing all this in a second, outside of just doing well in the exam. So let's just rock and roll here. A few things, few reminders. Just a couple things on the format in case you missed it or you're not watching any of these videos or whatever the case might be. We're looking at 5 documents. One's going to be an image chart graph, so 4 with actual words, 1 with some kind of image that you can look at. The rumor is that they're going to try and make these documents shorter than past DBQs. I'm not banking on that, so I'm just going to kind of ignore that rumor, but I do want to let you know that because we're on a strict 45-minute time frame, which is the key to a lot of the practice. I don't know how long the docs are going to be, but the ones I'm going to give you are going to be a little bit on the shorter side, but I want you to be prepared for anything. And part of it is the 45 minutes is going to go fast, and you need to be prepared and kind of prepped and know what's coming with the DBQ, and just get a good feel for that timing. So we'll do a couple practice ones to get that under control. Feel comfortable, whatever. So here's the deal. You can either type it or handwrite it, like I mentioned before. I need you to figure out what's best for you. My suggestion would probably be to handwrite it, but it depends if you type really fast or however you feel. It's not going to be on like a Microsoft Word doc, or a Google Doc. So the normal things that you're used to is not going to be there in terms of spell check and grammar check and that kind of stuff. If you do handwrite it, you're going to get, after the 45 minutes is up, you're going to get 5 minutes to upload it. So the 45 minutes cuts off, and then you get another 5-minute window to upload it. If you're typing it when that 45 minutes is up, they just stop you. I guess it just automatically submits. The scoring, just a reminder, we got 2 hips you're going to need, 2 outside pieces of evidence, separate outside pieces of evidence, not just 2 sentences. You're going to have to use 4 of the docs correctly and a contextualization and thesis. And all that together is 10 points. The one is the unicorn points, so really it's 9 points. And we're only looking at periods 1 through 6. So that's the quick format reminders. Just in terms of you prepping yourself mentally of what you need to include. In terms of, the more is going to follow with this, but the documents, I don't know specifically how it's going to look. College Board has said they are going to have a practice round where you can log on, get a feel for what the site looks like, whatever. You're supposed to log on 15 minutes before the exam. But in the weeks preceding the exam, before the exam, they're going to have a couple, they're going to give you the ability to log on and do whatever you need to do to kind of get a feel for what it looks like, how the typing works and whatnot. What 100% is the documents are going to be on your screen. It's not like you can print them out real quick and then just start annotating. It's going to be on your screen. My guess is they're going to have a split screen with the docs on one side, and on the other side, they're going to have some kind of, something that you can type into. So there are going to be 2 different ways to do that. So again, it's up to you. It's your choice. Again, I would say handwrite it. If you know you have a trusty phone that you can just, airdrop the pictures to your laptop or whatever the case might be. But at the same time, you do run into an issue where what if your phone's not working? What if something dies? What if the airdrop's not? What if, right? So it's up to you, personal preference. We're going to do a couple practice DBQs. So you can get a feel for the timing, feel for the pacing, feel for what's in front of you, because the 45 minutes is going to go fast. I know it's usually 60 minutes for the 7 docs. Now we have 5 docs, and there's more stuff you need to include, in terms of outside evidence and whatnot. So there's going to be a lot of you just feeling comfortable doing it, and getting a feel for the time. I'm going to say that a million times, I guess. My suggestion of what to have in front of you, you can take it, leave it. This is just a suggestion. You might find that my suggestions are doo-doo and you don't want to do them, and that is okay. My suggestion is I would have your review sheets out in front of you. They should be printed out, ready to go. And then essentially, once you look at the question, and if the question is, I don't know, let's say the question is 1450 to 1750, I would drop all the other review sheets on the ground and just have the 2 Unit 3 and Unit 4 review sheet in front of you. If the question is 1200 to 1900, then you got a whole bunch of review sheets. But that would be my suggestion. The other thing I would have is the hip sheet in front of you, kind of our little cheat sheet on the hip, which I'll put on Classroom, and then the outline sheet for the DBQ, which I'll show you in a second. Ideally, perfect world, and there's some YouTubers, some AP World teachers are saying, don't have anything in front of you, just do it. And that's another option too, where you say, I'm not going to waste my time looking through a review sheet and wasting time doing that when I should just go straight off the top of my head, because wasting 3 or 4 minutes looking through a review sheet for outside evidence is not worth the time of just trying to think of something off the top of your head. Some people think that having a textbook or a review sheet in front of you is a crutch and you rely on it too much as opposed to just trusting what you know and what you can do. So it comes down to what you want to do. As we do a couple of these practice, I would suggest having something out for one of them. For the next one, maybe try and do it off the top of your head and see what works better time-wise. And then the last one, you can just kind of perfect how you want. That's that. This is a quick little, see if I can pull this up. This is my cheat sheet. You don't have to use this. Totally up to you. Your call, whether you like it, whether you don't. This is what I would have this printed out and write in it as you're reading through the documents. My fear is that you're going to have the documents in front of you on your laptop that you can't annotate on. You can't write on them like we've talked about in class all throughout the year. So now you got to figure out a way to pace yourself and keep everything organized. So this is what I came up with. If you don't like it, don't use it. If you want to do something different, do something different. If you'd rather just have a piece of paper that's blank in front of you and take notes on that, do it. So the first thing I have up here is just read the question. Make sure you understand it. Make sure you know the question and you get it. There's been many stories of people who write AP essays who have a great essay, but they misread the question. So if it's asking for comparison, if it's asking for effects, if it's asking for changes, keep that in mind as it's doing it. If it's asking for a certain time period, make sure you understand that. Then I would go through the 5 documents. How does the doc answer the question? So you've read the question here. Step 2, how does the document answer the question? So I would put that in here. And what you're writing in here is what you're going to put in your essay. So you want to keep it short though, short bullet points, not full sentences because you don't have time for that. You don't have to write it twice, but put it in here. So then when you go back and you start organizing everything, you can just drop it in the essay. We got hip right here. I would not try and do all 5 hips. Just because of time constraints, but if you're good at them, then roll with it. But remember, connect the content of the document back to the hip. And if you forget how to do that, you can look at one of the past videos. Also, group the documents is step 3. You need to answer the question. If the question is on effects of the Columbian Exchange, for example, you would want to have 3 groups that show the effect. Decrease in population in the Americas, increase in population in Europe, increase diseases spreading, whatever the case might be. And those would be your topics or your groups. We talked about this all year. You can have 2 groups. There's 5 documents. So 2 groups might work perfect. You might want to have 3. So the third one is optional. So I would put what the topic is here, what documents to include, 1 and 3, 4 and 5, and then 2. And then any outside evidence you have. This is where your review sheets come in handy. This is the review sheet part right here. There's 2 facts. You need 2 different pieces of outside evidence that help you answer the question. They're not just random facts like King Louis lived in the Palace of Versailles. That doesn't help answer the question if the question is on, I don't know, rulers in 1450 to 1750 asserting their power. You might want to say that he built the palace to show his wealth and prestige. That would be an outside fact, but don't just drop random information in. It needs to help come back and answer this question. So the review sheet will be helpful here, which is a little bit of an advantage for you guys. Last is contextualization and thesis. We've done this all year. Contextualization, I would just bullet a couple things here. Remember, previous time period, people have talked about it like a bullseye. The question is the middle of the bullseye. You don't want to go too far outside of the bullseye. You want to keep it kind of in a circle or two and then get, and bring it in as you write the contextualization to lead into the question. And then thesis, include the dates, reword the questions, and include your 2 groupings. If you can do this in 15 minutes, that leaves you 30 minutes to write. That's a solid amount of time with an outline like this. If it takes you too long to do this, if it takes you 25 minutes in our practice rounds to do this, maybe it's not good for you. Maybe it's just not your cup of tea because it's taking you too long. I would hope this helps, but we've never done this before. 45 minutes is just a crazy amount of time to have to complete a whole DBQ essay. So we got to see what works for you. Last is each body paragraph should start with, these are just reminders, 1 effect, 1 change, 1 continuity, whatever it is. Ideally 2 sentences per document, including the hip. So we want to be short and sweet here. So whatever you have here should be able to write in a sentence, and then here a sentence, and then that's all you do, and you move on to the next one. Fast, fast, fast. If you're doing 3 or 4 sentences per doc, too much. And last, just a reminder, intro and the contextualization and thesis is your intro, 2 to 3 body paragraphs, and then a conclusion. Just restate your thesis. And if you don't get to this, that is okay. So essentially, that's what we're looking at. I'll do another one of these as it gets a little closer and we kind of get a full grasp of what's going on. But we're going to start doing practice ones this week, and we're going to do them over the next couple of weeks. So I want you to have this and have whatever you need in front of you. If you don't have a printer at home, you need another game plan, unless you have some like crazy setup in your house, like you're some hacker or like crazy gamer where you got like 5 TVs going at once where you can have stuff up and find things. You're going to need to figure out a game plan. So that's what we got. You know the deal. You got any questions, let me know. It's here for the basketball season, which probably isn't going to happen anymore. Hope everyone's healthy, happy, safe. I'm out.